Today I want to talk to you about time. But before I do, let me share a story. I won't tell you the main message right away. I want you to draw your own conclusions. Because when you train your mind to interpret stories in your own way, the lessons stay with you forever. Once upon a time, there was a school called Animal University, where animals from the jungle came to learn different skills. The goal of this school was simple: to help animals survive longer in the wild. In every classroom, each animal had to learn the same subjects. There was a class for climbing, one for swimming, one for flying, and another for listening from a distance to detect danger or prey. In one particular class, there was a fish, a bird, an elephant, and a monkey. Each animal excelled in one subject but struggled in others. When it was time to learn climbing, the monkey earned straight A's. But in flying, swimming, and long-distance listening, the monkey failed repeatedly. So the teachers gave it extra assignments to improve in those weaker subjects. When swimming lessons began, the fish performed brilliantly, but no matter how many assignments it completed in the other subjects, it still failed. The elephant excelled in listening from a distance, but stumbled in climbing, swimming, and flying. And the bird, of course, soared through the flying lessons, but failed everything else. By the end of the year, each animal graduated from Animal University. They all had one strong skill, but they had spent so much time trying to improve their weaknesses that their strengths had weakened too. Then came the real test: survival in the wild. The graduates were released into the jungle among other animals who had never attended the university. And to everyone's surprise, the university-trained animals struggled. The monkey could still climb, but not fast enough to escape predators or swing smoothly from branch to branch. The fish could swim, but it moved aimlessly, without the instinct or speed to find food. The bird could fly, but too slowly to survive. In the end, their time in Animal University had made them average at everything and great at nothing. So, I want you to think about this story and share your interpretation. What lesson did you learn from it? And here's another story about time. I want you guys to learn from the stories. I want you to get the underlying messages, because once you understand these stories, you will see how most people waste time. Now, this story is all about focusing on the right thing. But despite focusing on the right thing, the farmer still wastes time. And most of you might be focusing on the right thing. You know that if you want to become financially free, you save and invest. You know that if you want to get fit, you work out every day. But what if I tell you that focusing on the right thing can still make you waste time? Now here's the story, and I want you to draw your interpretation from the story. In a quiet village surrounded by hills, there lived two rival farmers, Eli and Jonas. They had been enemies for as long as anyone could remember. If one bought a new cow, the other bought two. If one built a bigger barn, the other built his even taller. Both made their living raising animals, chickens, goats, and cattle, but neither was ever truly satisfied. One day, Eli noticed something strange. Every week, villagers traveled outside of town to buy vegetables, carrots, potatoes, lettuce, things no one in their village grew anymore. Eli saw an opportunity. Why buy from strangers, he thought, when I can grow it right here? So Eli began a new chapter of his life. He cleared a section of his land, prepared the soil, and started planting vegetables. For months he worked quietly, learning when to water, how to rotate crops, and when to let the soil rest. The first harvest was small, but he didn't mind. He studied his mistakes and tried again. Year after year, Eli's vegetables grew better, richer, and fresher. Soon, the villagers stopped traveling outside of town. They bought directly from him. His small farm became the heart of the marketplace. When Jonas, his rival, noticed the crowd forming at Eli's stall, his eyes burned with envy. "This fool just got lucky," he muttered. "If he can do it, I can do it better and faster." Jonas immediately stopped raising animals and began planting vegetables on his land. But unlike Eli, he was impatient. He watered his crops 3 times a day, thinking more water meant faster growth. He used more fertilizer than needed, believing more meant better. He even tried to harvest early, forcing half-grown carrots from the ground. At first, his garden looked lush, but it was a trap. The roots began to rot from overwatering. The soil hardened from overuse. In his rush to catch up, Jonas had destroyed the very thing that made growth possible: time. By the time harvest season came, Eli's vegetables were full, healthy, and sweet. Jonas's crops, on the other hand, were wilted and bitter. The villagers chose Eli's produce again, not out of loyalty, but because it lasted longer and tasted better. Jonas couldn't believe it. "What did you do differently?" he demanded. Eli looked at him and smiled. "I didn't rush the rain," he said. "I just learned to wait for it." Jonas turned away in shame. He finally realized what he had been fighting against all along wasn't Eli, it was time itself. Time has its own season. You can't force the harvest before the roots are ready. Once there was a man who dreamed of finding gold. He bought land, tools, and worked every single day under the burning sun and cold nights. For years, he dug and dug deeper and deeper, but no gold. He started to lose faith. His friends mocked him, saying, "You're wasting your life chasing a fantasy." Even his family told him, "Maybe gold is not for people like us." And one day, after years of disappointment, he dropped his shovel. He said, "It's not worth it anymore." He sold the land, left the tools behind, and walked away. A few days later, a homeless man passed by. He saw the same hole, picked up the same shovel, and decided to dig just once, just to see. By the end of that day, he hit something solid. He dug a little deeper and found a gold vein running through the earth. The man who gave up had stopped just 3 feet from gold. He wasn't unlucky. He was unfaithful to his dream. I've always loved that story because it reminds me of my life. You see, building Alibaba was like digging for gold, except we were digging in the dark with no map, no money, and no clue if gold even existed. When we started, China didn't even believe in the internet. People thought the internet was a scam. They said, "Jack, you're just an English teacher. What do you know about technology?" And they were right, I didn't know much. But I knew one thing, the world was moving online, and if China didn't move with it, we'd be left behind. So we started digging. In my small apartment with 18 of my friends, we had one computer, and a dream that someday small Chinese businesses could sell to the world. That dream was our shovel. But the more we dug, the more resistance we found. For the first 3 years, we had no profit, not one. We got customers, yes, but every dollar we earned was swallowed by expenses, by mistakes, by inexperience. We didn't know how to monetize. We just believed. We told ourselves, keep digging. Investors rejected us over and over. Some laughed. Some didn't even show up to the meetings. One told me, "Jack, your company will never make money because Chinese people don't trust buying online." He was wrong, but in that moment, he made me doubt myself. There were nights I couldn't sleep, nights I wanted to quit. I would ask myself, why am I doing this? Why am I suffering? And I always found the same answer, because the dream was bigger than my pain. We kept digging and digging and digging. Sometimes it felt like the hole was getting deeper, but no closer to gold. Even when we started getting attention, we were still broke. I remember one year when we had thousands of users, but we were still losing money every month. It felt like running on a treadmill, lots of effort, no distance. But you know what? That's the test every dream gives you. Before success comes, life will ask, do you truly want this? It won't ask you once, it will ask you every single day. And every day we answered, yes. I remember in 2001 when we almost ran out of cash. We had maybe 2 or 3 months left before we would have to shut down. Many people told me, "Jack, let's stop, let's get normal jobs." But I said, no, we've already dug too deep to stop now. If we quit, everything we suffered for would mean nothing. So we kept digging. And guess what happened? One deal changed everything. One partnership with a Japanese company gave us just enough funding to survive. That deal was our first piece of gold, small but real. It gave us hope again. Years later, when we launched Taobao, we were competing against eBay, a giant with endless money. They had everything. We had nothing but determination. Everyone said we were finished. But we understood something eBay didn't. We were building for people, not profits. While they focused on transactions, we focused on trust. That became our gold. Alibaba didn't strike gold by being lucky. We struck gold because we refused to stop digging. I want you to think about your own life right now. Maybe you've been trying for years, working, studying, sacrificing, and still it feels like you're stuck in the same place. Maybe your business isn't growing. Maybe your efforts go unnoticed. Maybe you feel like giving up. But here's what I want you to remember. The darkest hour is always before sunrise. The ground gets hardest right before you hit gold. Most people fail, not because they lack talent, but because they stop one day too soon. Every dream has a breaking point, a moment where the pain is so great, the doubt so loud, the failure so constant, that you tell yourself it's not worth it. That's when you must dig deeper. That's when the treasure is closest. Alibaba could have died 100 times. We faced government pressure, market crashes, fraud, lawsuits, even betrayal from people we trusted. Every challenge was a new layer of rock. And every time we hit it, we had 2 choices, quit or dig, and we dug. That's why I always tell young people, don't envy our success, envy our persistence. Success is not built on talent, it's built on stubbornness, the kind that refuses to stop even when the world laughs at you. So if you feel stuck right now, listen carefully. You are not failing, you are digging. And if you keep digging with faith, with vision, with patience, you will strike gold. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next year, but it will come. Because gold is not found by the fastest, it's found by the one who refuses to stop. So my advice is simple. If you believe in your dream, keep digging. If you failed for years, keep digging. If you are tired, broke, and invisible, keep digging. Because tomorrow may be your lucky day, but only if you dig today. Now from these 3 stories, I want you to draw your own conclusions, because your interpretation may change how you spend your time.